Brigadier General's hand trembled as he lowered his M9 Beretta. 2 bodies, his living room, blood pooling on the hardwood floor he'd installed himself before his last deployment. He'd trusted this man with everything, his security clearances, his home, his wife. What he didn't know? The command sergeant major lying on his floor wasn't just betraying him as a soldier, he was betraying America. And the conspiracy went deeper than anyone could have imagined. Before we reveal what happened in that house, and trust me, this gets insane, you need to understand 3 things that'll make this entire story click into place. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll see how 1 photograph, 1 promise, and 1 foreign intelligence operation destroyed 3 lives forever. Brigadier General Marcus Dalton was a 42-year Army veteran. 2 Bronze Stars, 1 Silver Star, a Purple Heart from Kandahar. He'd bled for the flag, commanded battalions, and earned every piece of metal on his chest. But there was 1 mission he couldn't complete: fatherhood. An IED blast in 2011 didn't just leave shrapnel in his spine. It left him sterile. The doctors at Walter Reed were clear: no biological children. Ever. His wife, Sarah, 34, told him it didn't matter. "You're enough, Marcus. You've always been enough." They'd been married 11 years. High school sweethearts from Fort Benning, Georgia. She knew the life, the deployments, the classified ops, the months of radio silence. She signed up for it, or so he thought. Command Sergeant Major Victor Reyes, 39, combat veteran, 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. Born in Brooklyn to Russian immigrants, enlisted at 19. On paper, an American hero. Dalton met him at Fort Bragg in 2019. Reyes was sharp, disciplined, fluent in Russian and Pashto, a translator the brass loved to deploy on sensitive operations. The 2 men clicked. Reyes became Dalton's right hand, his first call for tactical advice. His brother. When Dalton got promoted to Brigadier General and assigned to JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command, he knew the job would swallow him whole. Classified briefings, black site operations, weeks, sometimes months, locked in skiffs reviewing intelligence so sensitive he couldn't even tell Sarah where he was. He needed someone to check on her, someone he could trust. "Victor, I need a favor," Dalton said one night over bourbon at their favorite bar near base. "Sarah's alone too much. I'm buried in compartmented work. Can you stop by?" "Make sure she's okay?" Reyes didn't hesitate. "You're my brother, sir. Consider it done." Dalton squeezed his shoulder. "I knew I could count on you." That was his first mistake. At first, Reyes followed orders. He'd swing by every Thursday, check the locks, mow the lawn, ask Sarah if she needed anything from the commissary. Professional, respectful. But something shifted. Sarah started texting him. Little things at first. "Thanks for fixing the sink." Marcus would have taken a month to get to it, Lowell. Then, "I'm making lasagna tonight. You should stay for dinner." Reyes knew the line. He'd been in the Army 17 years. You don't cross that line with a superior's wife. But Sarah was persistent and lonely. Here's what Reyes didn't know. Sarah had been planning this for 8 months. She wanted a child, desperately. When Marcus told her about his infertility, she smiled and hugged him and told him it was fine. But inside, she was already calculating. Adoption wasn't enough. She wanted her child, her genes, her legacy. And Marcus, loyal, trusting Marcus, would never agree to a sperm donor. Too proud, too traditional. So she'd make him think it was his. That's where Victor Reyes came in. One Thursday, Sarah answered the door in a sundress. Hair down, no wedding ring. "Marcus is gone for 6 weeks," and she said. "Classified. He can't even call." Reyes shifted his weight. "I know, ma'am. That's why I'm here." She smiled. "Stop calling me ma'am. It makes me feel old." "Sarah, then." "Better." She stepped aside. "Come in. I made iced tea." Over the next 3 weeks, Sarah played him like a violin. Compliments, touches on the arm. Stories about how lonely she was, how Marcus had changed since the injury, how he was distant. "I don't think he loves me anymore," she said one night, tears welling in her eyes. Reyes knew it was a trap. Every instinct screamed, "Don't." But she was beautiful and sad. And there. Then came the photographs. It started innocuous. Sarah in workout clothes asking if she looked okay. Then, a photo at 11 p.m. Low lighting, black lingerie. "Do you think I'm still attractive?" Reyes stared at his phone for 10 minutes before responding. "You shouldn't send me things like this." Her reply came instantly. "Why? Marcus doesn't look at me anymore. Maybe you will." He should have blocked her, reported her, told Dalton, but he didn't. And when she invited him over the next night, he went. The affair lasted 4 months. Reyes told himself it wasn't an affair. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. But Sarah had other plans. She tracked her cycle, ovulation kits, basal temperature. She wasn't leaving anything to chance. When she got pregnant, she told Reyes immediately. "I'm keeping it," she said. Reyes went pale. "Sarah, we can't. Marcus will know." She shook her head. "No, he won't. I'll tell him it's a miracle. Doctors are wrong all the time. He'll ask for a paternity test." She leaned in, her voice ice cold. "Not if he thinks it's his? And if you try to tell him, I'll say you raped me." Reyes felt the floor drop out. "You wouldn't." "Try me." But Sarah didn't stop there. She wanted more. "We could be together," she whispered one night, tracing her finger along Reyes's jawline. "For real? No hiding. Marcus would never let you go." "Not if he's alive?" Reyes pulled back. "What are you saying?" "You're a soldier, Victor. You've killed before." "In combat, not..." "Then make it look like combat." Her eyes gleamed. "An accident. A training exercise gone wrong. You know how to make those happen." Reyes should have run, should have confessed everything. But the baby was real, the pregnancy was real. And part of him, God help him, wanted her. "I'll think about it," he said. That was his last mistake. What Reyes didn't know, the FBI had been watching him for 11 months. Counterintelligence had flagged unusual banking activity, cash deposits, encrypted communications routed through servers in Moscow. Victor Reyes wasn't just a command sergeant major, he was an SVR officer, Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. A sleeper agent activated in 2017, his mission: infiltrate JSOs, gain access to classified operations, feed intelligence back to the Kremlin, and Brigadier General Marcus Dalton was his golden ticket. Dalton's security clearance gave him access to black ops in Syria, Yemen, and Ukraine. Troop movements, rendition sites, CIA safe houses. Reyes had been siphoning classified intel for years. But he got sloppy. A dead drop in Arlington went sideways. A coded message intercepted. A Russian handler burned. The FBI closed in. And Reyes knew it. When Sarah pushed him to kill Dalton, Reyes saw an opportunity. If Dalton died in a tragic accident, Reyes could comfort Sarah, marry her, raise the child, and disappear into suburban obscurity. The FBI would lose interest. He'd become a grieving army widower, not a spy. But he needed time. "Give me 2 weeks," and he told Sarah. "I'll make it happen." She kissed him. "I knew I could count on you." October 14th, 2023. 2:17 p.m., Brigadier General Dalton's phone buzzed during a SIF briefing. An encrypted message from an unknown number. "Your wife is pregnant. It's not yours. Check your home security footage from August 12th. Dalton's blood ran cold. He excused himself, pulled up the cloud-stored footage on his secure tablet, and watched Victor Reyes walk into his house at 9 p.m. Watched Sarah answer the door in lingerie. Watched them move to the bedroom. He didn't watch the rest. Dalton left the base without clearance, drove 90 miles per hour back to his house in Fayetteville. He still had his service weapon, a Beretta M9. When he walked through the front door, Sarah and Reyes were on the couch, her hand on his thigh. Dalton didn't say a word. He raised the Beretta. 2 shots. Reyes went down first, center mass collapsing onto the hardwood. Sarah screamed. Dalton turned the gun on her. "Marcus, please." 1 shot. Shoulder, non-lethal. She crumpled, sobbing. Dalton stood there, weapon lowered, chest heaving. And then he heard the sirens. The FBI had been 30 seconds behind him. They'd been tailing Reyes all week, waiting to make the arrest. When they got the alert that Dalton left base armed, they scrambled. Agents kicked in the door, weapons drawn. "Drop it! Drop it now!" Dalton set the Beretta on the floor and raised his hands. Reyes was bleeding out, gasping in Russian. Skadzium ja nie predatel. Tell them. Tell them I'm not a traitor. He died 2 minutes later. Sarah survived. The baby didn't. Miscarriage from trauma. She was arrested on conspiracy charges, attempted murder for hire, obstruction of justice. She's currently serving 15 years at FMC Carswell. Dalton's court-martial was a media firestorm. Defense argued temporary insanity, extreme emotional disturbance. Prosecution wanted premeditated murder. The jury heard everything: the affair, the pregnancy, the plot to kill Dalton. And then the FBI dropped the bombshell. Victor Reyes was a Russian spy. Dalton had unknowingly been feeding intelligence to Moscow for years, through Reyes. Every classified conversation, every mission brief, compromised. The jurors were stunned. In the end, Dalton was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and aggravated assault. Sentenced to 12 years at USDB, United States Disciplinary Barracks, Fort Leavenworth. Dishonorable discharge, loss of rank, loss of pension. Everything he'd built, gone. Here's what I keep thinking about. Was Dalton a murderer? Or was he a soldier who neutralized a threat to his family and his country? Because here's the thing. If Reyes had lived, if the FBI had arrested him quietly, how much more damage could he have done? How many more operations would have been compromised? How many soldiers would have died because of intel Dalton unknowingly gave him? Drop your answer in the comments. Was this justice? Or murder? But here's where it gets even darker. The FBI discovered Reyes wasn't alone. He was part of a network. 7 Russian sleeper agents embedded in the U.S. military, all activated between 2016 and 2019. All targeting officers with JSOC clearance. The SVR had been playing the long game. Decades of planning. Fake identities, military service, Purple Hearts. All to get close to America's most classified operations, and they almost succeeded. If Dalton hadn't snapped, if he hadn't pulled that trigger, how much longer would Reyes have operated? Brigadier General Marcus Dalton, former Brigadier General, is currently in year 2 of his sentence. I reached out to his attorney for comment. Here's what he said. Marcus knows what he did was wrong. He took 2 lives into his own hands, but he also knows he stopped a foreign intelligence operation that could have cost American lives. He lives with both truths every day. Dalton's eligible for parole in 2031. He'll be 59 years old. No rank, no pension, no family, just a man who trusted the wrong people. This case broke something fundamental about military trust, because in the Army, you rely on the soldier next to you. You trust them with your life, and when that trust is weaponized, when it's used to betray not just a person, but a country, it shatters everything. Sarah manipulated Victor. Victor betrayed Marcus, and Marcus destroyed them both. 3 lives, 1 bullet, 1 choice. Was it worth it? What do you think? Was Dalton justified? Was this self-defense, defense of national security, or cold-blooded murder? Drop your thoughts below, and if this story made you rethink who you trust, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button. This channel covers the cases no one else will touch. Because the truth, it's always darker than you think. I'll see you in the next one.